Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Authentic Info Podcast. I am your host, Admire Sandile. In this episode, we're going to look at an open letter written to our president, Ramaphosa, by a South African businesswoman, an academic, a medical doctor, an anti-apartheid activist, a woman who was married or who has two children with apartheid activist Steve Biko. I'm talking about Dr. Mamphela Rampele. Now, in the past week, if not two, she wrote an open letter to the president stating that state capture 2.0 is happening under his nose or under his watch. Now, here we're going to look at some of the facts or important facts stated in that open letter by Dr. Mamphela Rampele. Now, she was interviewed by one of the big media houses, where she elaborated on that letter, where she even added points which we did not see on that letter. Now, you will remember that Mamphela Rampele later formed their own political party, Agang SA, which she later retired and withdrawn from politics. Now, she was also known for controversial statements where she once mentioned in parliament that former President Jacob Zuma must be held accountable for corruption and state capture and things like that, stating that she has in her account 50 million rand, let everyone declare how much they have and things like that, and she went under fire. So she is not, it's not the first time where a person speak about someone of her caliber. And she has made a mark in politics, and even in her career as a medical doctor. She's been a vice chancellor of one of the biggest universities in South Africa. She has served in the World Bank and things like that. So her profile is quite big, if not huge. I don't know whether it's big or huge. Now, one of the let's focus on the facts of contained in that open letter to the president. Number one, she said that the president lacks courage to tackle corruption. And when she elaborates that, she says that a lot of people who were implicated in corruption and corrupt activities are still there in the ANC under his watch. Has done nothing yet to them. They've not yet been prosecuted and things like that. And she says that he's scared to take them head on or to fire them. And some of them still occupy high-ranking positions in the ANC and even in government. You will remember that there was a scandal of digital vibes which benefited during COVID, which is associated or linked to the former Minister of Health, Zweli Mkhize. We know Zweli Mkhize is still a member of the NEC, of the ANC. So he's still there, and he stands a chance to come back strong. So we saw him trying to contest in Nazareth in 2022 December in the ANC National Conference and things like that. So she speak about some of those high profiles who are kept there in the ANC, knowing that they are linked to state capture, they are linked to corruption, and there are cases out there, but still they're still serving in the ANC. So she says that it's not courageous enough to take them head on, to fire them, to prosecute them, and let them go to jail. Another point is that there's no accountability in the ANC. This is a point that she made, not that I'm making. So she says that in the ANC, under the leadership of Ramaphosa, people who are implicated in corruption and other illegalities, they are set free, they are protected, they still serve. Like it's the same thing which she expect when she stated the first point that these are the people who are supposed to be fired. We should see them being fired from their portfolios and from the ANC itself being expelled. But it seems like the president is scared to take these people head on. Another point she made is related to the tender which was awarded apparently to a person who's linked to the president. I don't know whether it's a cousin or something like that, but it's a relative to the family of the president. And this tender was awarded from Tembisa Hospital. And one of the whistleblowers was shot dead, and nothing has happened. No one has yet been arrested. even if there are rumors or information out there that the tender which was awarded was given to someone who's related to the president, then nothing has been done. So she says that even whistleblowers are not safe under the leadership, the ANC-led government, which the presiding officer is the president Ramaphosa. Which he says that it's quite questionable because there's no way that we can deal with corruption when people who uproot corruption are killed and there's nothing being done. And even if they are not killed, as soon as they give information, some of them disappear. We have seen a case of one individual in KwaZulu-Natal who spoke about the 5 million rand hard cash which was given to Zondo, who is currently the Chief Justice in South Africa. So that person has since disappeared. So she spoke about incidents or cases like that even if you're a whistleblower in South Africa under the leadership of President Ramaphosa, you're not safe. So some of the points which she made is that we know the case of Bara, where in recent years, I think during the COVID times, there were reports that there's shortage of food for patients. And she says a bigger hospital like Bara cannot go through such humiliation and insult in terms of administration, that it is known that it's the biggest hospital in South Africa and even in Africa. So it cannot lack things like food and clothing and medication and things like that. She says there's no way that no one was not held accountable for that humiliation. So she says under the leadership of the president, people are just doing as they please and they don't account. Another point which she made is about the cholera outbreak in Hammanskraal. We've seen a case implicating Edwin Sodi, who's associated with high-profile politicians of the ANC, where he was awarded a tender. I think it was 295, if not 285 million rand to service the water purification plant, if I'm not mistaken, which which supplies water to the area of Pretoria North. But we have seen a cholera outbreak and no one has been held accountable thus far. Even the spokesperson of NPA, if I'm not mistaken, says that there's no case yet, even against the person who was awarded that tender, Edwin Sodi, because they have a problem of leadership in Tshwane, because the mayor is always being changed, so they cannot initiate an investigation or a case of things like that. So she says such cases should have been prioritized and dealt with as soon as they come to the attention of the president. So she says the president has been reckless and careless in the case of Hammanskraal cholera outbreak. Another point that she made is that the leadership, we as South Africans, we cannot take care of the apartheid structures, and we again fail to build our own structures. So she says that all apartheid structures are being are dilapidated, they're not being upgraded. So she said at least under his watch, if he was a good president, was supposed to upgrade these buildings so that they don't collapse, because we have nothing new that we can show as a country that we have done for the past 29 years. So these are some of the points that she made on that open letter to the president. Another thing is that the metros are collapsing under his watch. She says that this thing of coalition is not working. They are focused on leading or occupying leadership positions so that they can eat other than servicing the people and making sure that the metros are revived and they're up to the greater standards. So she says that under his leadership, everything is just collapsing and no one is held to account. She says that the metros are dirty. The metros are no longer the same, the way they were back then when they grew up. She says that they were clean, they were well taken care of, the buildings were occupied, they were clean. Crime was not that high. Everything was controllable. But she says today, all the metros have collapsed in terms of her analysis. and what she said on that open letter to the president. And then she also mentioned that the promise that the president has made to clean the ANC has failed dismally. She says that he knows the people who are corrupt, he knows the perpetrators of crime who are even serving in the ANC structures, but he has not cleaned the ANC yet. But we've seen the president, under his leadership, people like Ace Magashule being expelled, who occupied a very high-ranking position in the ANC, the position of secretary. But she says that type of move is not enough because the ANC is rotten. So the president should have acted very fast on cleaning the ANC and putting in new faces. So I don't know why did she retire from politics, because some of these points can be made, or some of these problems can be solved by opposition parties. Nonetheless, let's continue. She further states that the current cabinet of President Cyril Ramaphosa still consists of people who were seen or who were involved or who are implicated in state capture. And there's nothing that is doing about it. So she doesn't know why is he protecting them this much, or maybe they have something against him. So he's trying to protect himself by protecting them. She further states that the resources that are allocated to VIP Protection Unit are too much. She states that billions are being spent yearly on a VIP Protection Unit to protect ministers, to protect the president, the deputy ministers and things like that, to transport them from one place to another, doing nothing. They even protect them while doing their private business. So she states that it compromises the security of the state, and then these resources, or the money that is directed to those resources, should be spent elsewhere in trying to fix, the state of South Africa, or state of the nation. She further speaks about the Phala scandal, saying that it is still shocking because nothing has been done, and then he has recently been cleared by the acting public protector, whereas he himself admitted in public, saying that he does own a game farm, and sometimes they sell these animals, and sometimes they sell them using cash. And then we saw the acting public protector coming to clear the president recently on the first week of July, stating that he's cleared, he's not involved, he knows nothing, he knew nothing about those activities, and such, he cannot be charged. So she says it's very shocking to hear the news coming from the public protector's office. She's saying that office has been compromised. She further states that the constitutional values are being compromised under President Cyril Ramaphosa's watch, because all the cases that are there against people of the ANC or ANC leaders who occupy high-ranking positions, nothing is holding them to account. No one is accounting for corruption. No one is being taken to court. So they are being protected. They do as they please. So those are the highlights. Of Dr. Mamphela Rampele's open letter to the president. He hasn't responded. So I don't know if he's going to give it attention, but that is a concern, and he worries as a citizen of South Africa. So thank you for watching Authentic Info Podcast. More of this type of content is coming. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell. Let's grow together. Let's enjoy these episodes. You can watch the previous ones, and then let's grow together. Thank you.